Hey boys and girls, I'll be right there. I'm just trying to figure out how I can do two things at once, so we'll just see how this goes here. Give me a second. Okay, now I gotta find the comments. Why can't I see the comments? I'll be right there, boys. Just give me a second here. I'll be right there. Just trying to figure out what's going on so I can read comments. I want to make sure I can speak to you guys. Oh crap. Okay. Hold on, folks. I'll be right back. I've got to sign in real quick. Those of you already here, if you don't mind just letting anyone who's new coming in that I'll be right there. Just give me 2 seconds. Still here, folks. Just setting up my chat so I can actually chat to you guys. Just bear with me. Typical YouTube never likes to work with me very well, so I'm just trying to make sure it works. Because right now I'm using my iPhone to stream. I'm trying to use Mrs. Matsimus's iPad to actually read your comments because my phone is at the opposite end of the room, and Windows 10, being so good that it is, has now no longer allowed my webcam to be used. So unfortunately, I am having to basically improvise as best as I can to make the stream work for you guys. And I thought, you know what? I was going to wait until the weekend. I thought, no, I'm not going to wait till the weekend. I'm going to do it now. So I'm just setting up my chat, guys. Just give me a sec here. I will be there in a second. I just want to make sure that everything's working smoothly. Okay, there we go. I think I can actually read you guys loud and clear. I'm coming into the stream. Here we go. Okay, I can actually read comments from you now. Okay, so first of all, let's get all these suckers out of the way. I've got a lot of guns going on here. Hello, everyone. It is Matsimus, the one and only. So as I mentioned, I do have a new addition to the family, other than these absolute beauties right here. I will have eventually another addition to the family. But here we go. C7A2 rifle, otherwise known in civilian standards as the SA-20. It is completely safe, guys, just to make you aware and make sure that I'm following YouTube policy. Magazine is clear. Rifle is completely clear, top to bottom. Okay, nothing inside there. I'll make sure that you can all see inside the chamber. Hoping they can see you there. They go completely clear. He says, as he releases the working parts and shoots a bullet through the ceiling, killing Mrs. Matsimus. Okay, completely clear rifle, so just to make sure you're all safe. So, the SA-20 is the civilian version of the C7A2 rifle, issued to the Canadian Armed Forces as a standard service rifle. As most of you are aware, I came from a tradition of using the LLE-5A2, which is the British Army standard issue bullpup rifle, which most of you are probably well aware. I love and will always love and will never say a bad thing about it because, well, first of all, I'm a little biased, as most of you have said in the past, but second of all, I just think it's a bloody good rifle. That being said, I have used AR-15s before. I had a PWS Mark 116 gas piston operated rifle. Absolutely gorgeous rifle. Loved it to bits. Never really had a problem with it. Unfortunately, it was just an expensive rifle and I needed my house. So I sold it and have never had an AR-15 since. I did have a Tabor, which is another bullpup rifle. Absolutely loved it, but again, had to sell it. And into getting into the Canadian Army Reserve, which I'm now a part of, I decided, you know what? I'm going to treat myself to the standard service rifle of which the Canadian Armed Forces uses, which is the beautiful C7A2. Of course, this not being an actual C7A2 because it does not have the capability of being fully automatic, which of course would be a prohibited firearm here in beautiful Canada. However, it does have pretty much every other staple, attribute that the C7 rifle would have. It does have a nice long barrel there, a 20-inch barrel, along with the standard AR-15 setup, nothing too fancy. It does have a retractable buttstock there, which is really nice for myself. I know a lot of people who actually enjoyed the C7A1 rifle, which was actually just a solid stock to the rear. But I really like the adjustable buttstock. It's very standard on most AR-15 platforms today. I've got to admit, I'm getting used to this whole handguard thing. It's a little different to what I'm used to. My muscle memory, if you know what muscle memory is, being able to utilize something on and off, changing magazines to me is really awkward coming from this side. Normally I'm doing this thing, I'm doing the whole, shuffle to the rear with the bullpup, but it's a little different coming from the front now. I got to admit, I'm trying to adjust my muscle memory a little bit, even with the positional buttstock here, trying to get used to the position and hold of the rifle, which is very different. If you guys know about the marksmanship principles, you'll know the position and hold must be firm enough to support the rifle. And I have owned an AR-15 in the past. I love the AR-15 platform, but it is different. It's a very different positioning than you would used to with the bullpup rifle being more, I guess, tucked in to my body, sort of a shorter barrel length, which is nice for using inside of armored fighting vehicles. As most of you are aware, I was operating in tanks and armored fighting vehicles most of my career, so the bullpup was great. I can't imagine using this thing inside of a warrior. It's way too bloody long, even with, my stock. So many people are here, 142 people, holy camoli. Well, welcome everyone, for those of you who have joined me. I will answer your comments, I promise. I just want to have a chat with you guys first and have a little talk about the rifle, because at the end of the day, that's kind of what this stream's about today, is this beautiful baby. Yeah, I can't imagine, even with the buttstock all the way in there, I can't imagine having this thing inside the warrior. It would be super awkward for me. I mean, maybe it's not for those of you who, US servicemen, Canadian servicemen, or other servicemen and women around the world who are used to having this nice long, rifle platform with this extended barrel out to the front. I personally don't like that. I like having it tucked into my body with the bullpup design. And, a lot of people don't like the whole rear magazine thing and feeding it and doing all the side cocking and all this stuff with the AR, with the bullpup. I've never had a problem. I personally have more struggle with this sort of deal than anything else. Forgot my forward assist. Because it's just not what I'm used to. I'm not used to this rear, this rear stuff going on back here. I much rather like the side pattern. That being said, though, it doesn't mean I'm against it. It just means it's an adjustment for me. Completely different adjustment than what I'm used to. I was very lucky, actually, to get an Elkin C79A2, which is the optic that you see on top of here. It is a little beaten up, other than the rifle. The rifle is actually spotless, guys. It's brand spanking new. There isn't a single scratch on this thing. It's absolutely spotless. I haven't looked down the barrel yet and look at the riflings, but I can almost guarantee it's going to be spotless. I don't think he's even put more than like 100 rounds through this thing. I will show you the beautiful, I'm going to cover the serial number here so you can't see the serial number, but it does have the beautiful Canadian SA20. I don't know if you'll be able to see it. I'll try my best to get the light on it here. There's no way you're going to see that, I'm sorry. There's no light, but it does have the Canadian maple leaf here, showing the SA20. So again, Colt Canada, this is made in Colt Canada, under Colt licensing, which is, a good firearms brand. Everybody has their own preferences. So overall, a fantastic rifle. I can't wait to get this thing down to the range. Of course, I'm not at the range today, but I will be taking it, hopefully this weekend. We're going to put some rounds down range. It won't be a live stream because, of course, it'll just be laggy, and you know what it was like with my hotel live stream the other day. I'm back from Montreal, and when I got home and found this thing, I was like, yes, I've got to show the guys and girls of the channel everything about it. In terms of weight, it is a little beefy. I don't know its exact weight. Of course, it is front-sided, being that it is a long-barreled rifle, and most AR-15s are quite, front weight balanced. Bullpups are obviously to the rear. Most of the weight in the working parts to the rear of the rifle. And again, that's just what my muscle memory is used to. I like having most of my operating parts back here, doing my mag changes and all this good stuff. And everybody else normally finds it very awkward to do this sort of thing. If you're left-handed, you're screwed, unfortunately. And of course, with the AR-15, you have a little bit more, of a chance of doing your drills and skills correctly from the left hand. With the AR-15 to bullpup configuration, you're not going to be able to do much as a left-hander, and it really sucks. And I do agree with the appeal of those who hate the L85 because of that. In Canada, we're only limited to 5 rounds in a magazine. So this magazine is actually pinned to 5 rounds, which is fine to me, honestly. I mean, I don't have a problem with it. A lot of people get very, very upset that, we don't have 30-round mags or 20 or 10 or whatever it may be. Honestly, I don't have a huge concern with it. Yes, I'd like to have 30 rounds, but I mean, for crying out loud, I'm going to a range and putting rounds on paper, because in Canada, all we can do is take this sucker to a range. You can't go out into the field, can't go, hunting with it. It's straight to the range, put it in your case, take it back out the case when you get home, and that's that. So 5 rounds is fine for me. I put 5 rounds at a time. It also gives you perfect opportunity to practice your magazine, change drills, change it out, put a new one in, all that good stuff. But of course, it does have inherent problems for those who want to do speed shooting and all that sort of stuff, and they want to do multiple shoots. I'd like to get into 2-gun. If you don't know what 2-gun is, it is basically a competition in which you use, or 3-gun, sorry, in which you use 3 different guns, a handgun, a rifle like this, and a shotgun. I just need a shotgun. I've got my rifle, which most of you have seen before. Let's put this beautiful baby down and talk about my, holy cow, how many people we've got going now? 136 people. I'm sure the gun fanatics out there are probably correcting me on 1,000 things I've said incorrectly so far, but that's okay. I don't pretend to be a gun, professional or a gun, fanatic and know everything about guns. I know enough to get me by and enough to have some goddamn fun with them. This, guys, is, most of you aware, my baby. I love her to bits. She is my bolt-action precision rifle, chambered in .223. Again, rifle is completely clear, folks. Absolutely no magazine or rounds inside here, so to make you completely safe. Again, I just want to make sure that you are happy that it is clear. This is my pride and joy. I built her from the bottom up, pretty much. The action and bolt, along with barrel, is actually coming from a Savage Model 12 .223 rifle, and everything else is custom. So the stock on which you see here, as most of you are aware, is an Accuracy International stock. It is designed for the British Arctic Warfare rifle, chambered in .308 or some other bigger calibers that they're going into now, like .338 Lapua. And it's just a gorgeous stock. I love the thumbhole stock. Really nice for me. I love the cheek weld to this stock too. Beautiful cheek weld, and just naturally aligns very well for my body. The barrel and action of this rifle was actually custom made into a steel / aluminum bedded stock that goes underneath these plastic inserts that you see kind of attached to the side, the framework, so to speak. So it's completely custom. You cannot get Accuracy International stocks made for Savage rifles. You can spend almost a fortune on a custom Accuracy International bolt, barrel, and an action if you wanted to, but you're spending up to $2,000-3,000 just for a bolt and action, which is insane to me. I was a little bit of a cheapskate and decided to get the Savage Arms action and bolt, and then get someone just to pretty much custom make the stock for me. But we're not really here to talk about this beauty today. We are here to talk about the C7. And whilst I have a little break from my rifles, I'm going to have a little chat as to what you guys are talking about in the comments. So we have 141 people watching, which is absolutely crazy. Thank you for joining me, folks. Let's see what we got going on here. So apparently something's extra thick. Not too sure what's extra thick. Probably my my big fat body right now. SKS, hello, your cat. Welcome. Yes, I do have an SKS. This is a Russian model. There's hundreds of models out there. They're all over the place. Again, rifle is completely clear, folks. No magazine or rounds inside the chamber. Working parts forward. Completely dry. Nothing inside. Just to make sure you're all happy and safe that I'm not going to get in trouble. Completely safe, and I made sure they're safe before we started playing. Yeah, this is a Russian variant. I was lucky enough to get a nice clean Russian one. Some of them can come back really bad. Of course, it does have the beautiful bayonet on the end, which I'm going to use one day if, commies start coming into Canada, which I don't think is ever going to happen, but, it's nice to be prepared. The irony is I'd be using their own rifle against them. But a beautiful rifle. I mean, you can't live in Canada without having an SKS, I swear to God. You've got to have an SKS to live in Canada, because we have such good access to cheap surplus ammunition. You can buy a crate of around 1,000, 7.62 by... I think it's 39. I apologize, I forgot the caliber of this rifle already. For about $250, not even. That's pretty good ammo. Of course, it is corrosive, so it'll tear your rifle apart if you don't clean it up very well afterwards. And finally, the baby of the bunch, but an absolute, tack driver, is my Savage Arms. Again, completely chambered, clear. I'm not going to dry fire this because it is a rimfire. I promise you, folks, it's completely clear. No rounds in the chamber or in the magazine. This is my tack driver. It's a Savage 22 Mako. Just a little rimfire rifle, folks. Heavy bull barrel. Very reliable. Very accurate. Has a beautiful stock in it. Most of you have probably been on my streams before and know exactly what rifles I'm talking about here, and you want me to go back to the C7. But for those of you who don't, that's what this is. Savage Arms. Mako, and Mako, the design of the rifle is kind of based around a shark. I'm going to put this, no, I'm going to leave that where it is. Let's see if we get some more comments going on here. Red Dawn UK Veteran Canada Edition. Yeah, that would be an interesting movie, wouldn't it? It wouldn't go down too well. I'd lose. I want to see you fire them. They're going to be fired, folks. I promise you. I'm going to take this beauty to the range as soon as I can. I promise you it's going to happen. Just stand by. When I get some time, I'll be able to take it to the range and put some rounds down range. I've got plenty of ammo. I was lucky enough to get a little money on the side to buy a little bit of ammo for this thing. But that'll probably be about it. I won't be able to do much more than, say, a couple of 100 rounds. But enough to zero this sucker in, try and get my sight aligned to my eyesight and my eye relief and all that good stuff. And just try her out, see what it's like, you know, getting used to my new standard issue service rifle of the Canadian Armed Forces that I'm now so blessed to be a part of. Let's see what else you guys are talking about. Eric, hello. Eric, welcome. What else are we talking about? Dan, you finally got the C782. Yes, I did. Dan Talk, thank you, buddy, for joining me today. Thank you all for joining me today, by the way. I really appreciate you stopping by on the stream. I know I don't live stream much, normally because of the fact that my stream quality is so disgustingly bad that it's embarrassing to do streams. As I mentioned at the beginning of the stream, if you hadn't already joined me, my webcam now, for some reason, does now no longer work for my computer because of Windows 10, so that really pisses me off. So streaming in terms of games and gameplay is going to have to hold for a little while, but at least I can do this kind of setup and do some questions and answers. Is there lag? Oh, I apologize if there's lag, folks. Needs a muzzle loader. I do not need a muzzle loader. There's no way I'm touching black powder rifles. Absolutely no way. We need some of those beauties in the UK. No, you don't. Stick with the L85A2. That's the way to go. No, honestly, though, I think the C8s are coming in pretty standard issues to most units nowadays in the future for the British Army. We see the Royal Marines obviously taking on the C8. Am I living in the US? No, I am not living in the US. I'm living in Canada. That's why I have my beautiful Canadian C7, or otherwise known as the SA-20. I can't really call this a C7A2 or a C7 because it doesn't have, you know, the fully automatic capability. So I'm just going to call it the SA-20. You guys can call it the C7. I'll give you that. But in terms of, you know, true technicalities, it's a SA-20. So go to shoot the SKS at the firing range. If you have seen my channel, I've actually done a video of me firing all three of these rifles. So go look at my channel. Go have a hunt through all three of them. I've done videos on. Just type in Matsimus at the range. You'll find my videos. I've done videos on all three of these rifles, and this one's up next. What country am I in? I am in Canada right now, my friend. Can't get G3 or FAL. Actually, guys, after my shotgun, because I want to get a shotgun next, which is actually going to be the Derya Mark 12. Go check that out. Derya Mark 12 in the same OD green that this beautiful baby is in. It's got a spiral fluted shroud around the top of it. It is just beautiful. Semi-automatic AR-15 type shotgun. It is like on my hit list. It is next after this beauty for purchasing rifle-wise or gun-wise. And then after that, I want to get myself an SL8, which is the civilian version, very similar to this, kind of the civilian equivalent of the G36 rifle. So I'm kind of excited to give that a go for sure. I think I might buy a C7 or a Tavor. I used to own a Tavor, fantastic rifle. It's just really expensive, you know, $3,000 rifle. But let's be honest, folks, this one's not much cheaper right now. Would you buy a Lee Enfield? Actually, in terms of surplus rifles, I definitely want to get a Lee Enfield because, well, it's British pride to have a Lee Enfield in my arsenal. And I've never actually really shot one before, other than in the 2.2 rimfire in my Army Cadet careers back in the day. So I think it's definitely a surplus rifle I'm going to want to get. Matsimus, why not Kalashnikov? I can't get Kalashnikovs in Canada, my friend, I'm sorry. Matsimus, what's your opinion on the Sig Pistols? I had a Sig P226 in Afghanistan. It was not good. It wasn't a great rifle. Jammed up in the sand a lot, unfortunately. But I'm not saying it's not a good pistol. But for the application for us in Afghanistan, it wasn't good. The army actually got rid of them all. So it kind of shows you as to why we don't have them anymore. Why did you take down some of your old videos, such as Remy in Afghanistan, phone infantry clips? The reason I took those videos down, buddy, is because I am now serving the Canadian Army. I got to kind of stick to some rules and procedures about being, you know, smart and proper on the internet. So I decided to take down some videos that were like a little inappropriate and, you know, not really relevant or applicable to this, you know, the values and standards of the Canadian Army. So I got to be a little smarter, and that's why I did that. Thank you, Jonathan Young. Will I get a Mosin again? If so, which variant? I'd love to, man. I would absolutely love to. I think it will be definitely after my Lee Enfield surplus mission for getting rifles. So stay tuned in the long future. I'll definitely be getting one. Matsimus, what's your pistol? I don't have a pistol. I used to own a Beretta 92 FS Inox, which is a beautiful silver stainless handgun. Beautiful, beautiful handgun. But unfortunately, again, had to sell it. Handguns for me in Canada are they're just a toy that you can only... It's just like this guy. It's a toy you can only use at the range. And unlike, this rifle, which I can refine my skills to apply to my, regular service in the Canadian Army, my Beretta 92 FS, I could not do that. It just felt like every time I'm popping around down on my handgun, it was just like, yeah, well, this is fun, but it has no practical application. For this rifle, its practical application is I can practice my skills to be a better shot physically in my career. For this rifle, its practical application is I can shoot out long distance and refine my skills by adjusting my turrets or whatever it is, and offset targets, all that sort of stuff. SKS, I mean, for crying out loud, it's an SKS. You got to have an SKS. And finally, my TAC driver 22. It's good for actually just involving family members who have never shot guns before. You don't want to put them straight onto a 223 or a 7.62 or whatever it may be. You just want something small. I actually really want to take my daughter out on this. She's growing up quite quickly. I'd love to take her out and start shooting on the rimfire. So. Let's see what else you guys are talking about. See you later, Thunderclasher. Thanks for joining me, buddy. Appreciate it. I'm joining the British Army in March as a recovery mechanic. Peaceful Destroyer. Arte et Marte, brother. Good luck to you. Any advice is, well, prepare your liver. Oh, no, I'm just kidding. Any advice I can give you, buddy, is to just honestly enjoy every second of your training. Take on as much as you can. Your job is important. And, you really just need to enjoy every second of it because you're only going to get to do it once. And you're going to regret, all the times where you bitched about it because just do your training and enjoy your time every second of your moment of your career. Have you shot the GMG automatic grenade launcher? Yes, I have. In my pre-deployment training, I was able to fire the GMG. Pretty much every weapon system the British Army had prior to deploying in case things hit the fan and we had to use them. Prepare your liver. I died laughing. You can own AK models in Canada, folks, but they're not AK. They're made by CZ. I think it's the CZ578 or something like that. It's kind of like a knockoff AK-47 lookalike, but it's not an AK-47. That short throw bolt keeps you in check. Stop starting for your calls. What's your thoughts on the PL-1 tank, and do you think it will be seen in the British Army? PL-1 tank is a prototype vehicle that will never come into service, unfortunately. It's a totally concept vehicle. Really cool idea, cool concept, but it's not a vehicle that I could ever see going into service, especially with the British Army, considering the amount of cuts they're making. Timing comment just right so Matsimus sees it. Hello, Line Scale buddy. Long time subscriber there. Thank you for joining me. Thanks, and Gilo, buddy. I love my C7, although, as I said, it's not really a C7. I'll let you guys, call it a C7. She is going to the range, folks. For those of you who have just joined, she is going to get taken to the range. I'm going to give her a good trial fit and see how she does shooting-wise. But overall, I'm just excited to practice my skills and hone my skills with this thing and get used to my new service rifle because I'm so used to the L85A2. It's going to be interesting to see how I do the C7 or, in my case, the SA20. FN Scarmark 17308. Yeah, that's insane prices, Springtime. And hello, Springtime, buddy. Thank you for joining me, pal. It's insane. FN Scars, guys, I just don't understand the pricing for that rifle. It just makes no sense to me. What's your view of the Supercat Jackal? Great vehicle, buddy. Fantastic vehicle. I'll do a review on it in the future for sure. I plan on joining the US Marine Corps in aviation, be flying. Do you think we may be assigned to a British carrier? You may be. You never know. 2027 is a long way away. You never know what the Brits will do and what you guys will do on the aircraft carrier as well. Is the C7 Canadian M4? Yeah, I guess so. It's actually going to be the M16A2, the US Marine Corps version. I don't think Marine Corps use M4s. I believe you use the M16A2s. Longer barrel. I think the M4 is a 16-inch. This is a 20-inch barrel, so I think a little different. Jonathan Young, thanks again with your donations, buddy. I really appreciate it. In Canada, what kinds of ammo are available? I know I can order 50 BMG armor piercing center triple. Yeah, I don't think we can do armor piercing, guys. Ammunition is very stringent, just as much as it is in any other country. I think in Canada, we're only going to get ball and tracer. That's pretty much all we're going to get. So, but thanks for your question and for your donation. I really appreciate that, pal. What military branch would you make fun of the most while serving in the British Army? I make fun of every branch in the British Army, and if you don't make fun of one another, then you're not enjoying your career correctly. We all had a good laugh, you know, you make fun of each regiment, but I think the regiment or the corps that you make the most fun of is the Raw Logistics Corps. I'm sorry, the number of people I've met in that branch that are just absolute turbo special, it's unreal. They're a great bunch of guys, great at their core, great at their trade, but some special people for sure. Now, can we compare the M16A2 clone to yours now? I guess that's what I'm looking at as comparison to those two. How much is the optic on your rifle? The optic itself is actually one of the most expensive parts of this rifle. I'm not going to tell you its exact price, but let me just say it was close to $1,000 bucks. What do you do in the Canadian Army? Right now, I'm training to become an artillery gunner. I'm not quite there yet. Hopefully, I'll retrade sometime this year. I'm really looking forward to it. I'm really enjoying being back in uniform and being back in a green environment and around people who, well, I mean, basically have the same mentality as me. So I'm really excited to be back into that. Will you cover the new British Army recruitment videos? Yeah, I probably will, but I know a lot of people, you know, Zero Foxtrot and some of the other guys, the YouTubers out there, have been doing a lot of reviews on those lately. So I'm probably just going to take it easy and let them kind of roll with those. What do you think of the M39 EMR? Great rifle. I've never used it. I'd love to, though. First live on Friday. Follow me, Miss Sunday. Please, Miss Sunday. Why'd you have to selfless promote on my channel? Like, I work my ass off on my channel. Go do your own work and get your own promotion. What artillery guns are you training on? We are training on the C3 Howitzer, which is a 105mm gun. Very, very old gun for sure. Are you going in the French artillery regiment? No, I am not. I do not speak French. I just came back from Montreal, actually, for a business trip, and I can safely say I can't speak French very well. Show us your best box splits? That ain't happening. Springtime, in America, the optics of your rifle is around $5,000. Yeah, these ain't cheap. I was so blessed to find this deal as is. Like, it's a very good deal, honestly. I was very lucky to get this rifle at the price I got it. Are you joining the reserves or Reg Force? Alex, I am currently in the reserves. I've been waiting 4 years to get in. I was. I'd love to go back regular force, but unfortunately, my family life just isn't going to allow me. So, Jonathan, stop sending me money. Since you're a soldier, I was wondering if I should join the Army, Marines. I want to be a mechanic, but I don't know which branch is the best. Jonathan, if you're in the United States, I don't want to make too much of an opinion on that because I know the Marines and the Army have their own mechanical trades. In the British Army, we don't have really a trade skill for the Marines as a mechanic, so I'm presuming you're from the United States. First of all, good luck to you, and whatever you do, stick to it, true to it. Make your decision informed on what makes you happy and what you're passionate about. Don't go on what a recruiter is telling you to be. Sometimes you don't have the choice. You know, you have to do what they tell you to do. But I think you just need to choose what makes you happy. If you enjoy being around mechanics and mechanical things, then, you know, go ahead and do that. But don't be persuaded into doing something that you don't want to be a part of. So, have you seen CB U.S. Navy mechanics in Afghanistan? I did not see any U.S. Navy mechanics in Afghanistan. No, I did not. Have you been on any tours? Yes, I've been on Operation Deployment in Afghanistan in 2008 with the British Army, along with 16th Air Assault Brigade. Random question, do you ever think you'll do a video on the Queen's Guards? Yes, I could definitely do that. I'm not, you know, too profound on infantry regiments. I was a armoured repair specialist, so I was pretty much attached to most armoured regiments and a few infantry regiments too. But I can definitely do some videos on them for sure. Beautiful C7, thank you, Diego, I appreciate it. Jonathan Young, anytime, buddy. Just honestly stick to your guns. Focus on what makes you happy. Do not let the recruiter tell you what you should be. Stick to your heart, because in 6 years' time, when you go, and this goes to all you guys who are asking questions about what I should join when I go into the army or what I should do. Here's a prime example for you. Okay, I'm going to put the C7 down because I'm getting a little brazen with it. I joined the Army because I loved mechanical skills. I loved working with my hands. I loved engineering principles, mechanics. It was just, you know, I played with Meccano and Lego like religiously as a kid. So that's what I was in. My mechanical and engineering brain set in. I said, Remy's the way to go. I want to be a tank mechanic. I love tanks. And originally I was going to be a tanker. I was going to join the Royal Tank Regiment 2 RTR and be a tanker. And I said to myself, you know what? Relate back to what makes you truly happy. Working with tanks is great. It looks cool, looks fun. Blow stuff up, drive around in big tanks. But the core of me was Lego and Meccano, and all that engineering and mechanical background kept coming up and up and up. And I said to myself, you know what? I'm going to focus on something I really want to be a part of that's true to me. and I decided to not go tank regiment and to go into the REME. And the best thing about the REME, or the Royal Electrical and Mechanical Engineers, which is a, if you don't know from the States or other people who don't know how the British Army works, it's a corps or a branch of the British Army that primarily focuses on fixing things. You get to work with tanks anyway, every day. If you're a tank mechanic, you are right beside the tanks. There's a Challenger 2 right there, there's a Challenger 2 right there. I'm in a Warrior or a Krav, which is a repaired Challenger 2. Warrior, Krav, Warrior, Krav, Scimitar. There's tanks all around me. I was around to climb all over them, interact with the crews, drive alongside them while they're firing, pull them out of ditches, repair them in, the heat of contact, all sorts of stuff. You get to involve yourself as much as that. Okay, so you're not putting rounds down onto targets. Maybe that's something you really want to do, but the part of me said, be a mechanic and do what makes you happy. I'm just going to check out, someone just donated something there. Justin Belgrave, thank you, sir. Have some good old Aussie dollary dues from your homeland's largest prison. Thank you, Justin. I appreciate that, really do. Unfortunately, Australia isn't real. It's not a real place, along with Sweden. But I really do appreciate your donation of Aussie didgeridoo dollars. That is awesome, by the way, so thank you for joining me today. Can you do videos on vehicles from Japan and other countries? I will be, guys, I promise. A lot of you have been asking about Japan and China and all these different countries. Look, I have a huge list of vehicles I'm doing and different reviews and stuff that you request. I don't ignore you guys. When you tell me you want me to review or look at something or do a video or whatever it may be, I know a number of you have been messaging me on Discord, which is my chat server. I'm always on there texting, or I try to anyway. You send me messages like, Matsimus, please, can you review this? Can you do that? Can you do that? And I promise you I will. It's just I've got a long list of other things that have already been requested and that I myself want to do. This being one of them. Of course, I actually want to shoot this thing before I make more videos on reviewing other things. So when I actually have some fun with my channel, because I like to have fun with my channel too, not just sit down and create, review videos all the time. I want to get to the range and shoot this thing and actually have some fun. So just stay tuned. I promise I will get round to your video requests when I get to them. So please bear with me. Do not respond to Australian posts. Yeah, I guess so. What's people's thoughts on the lab? I will be doing a video on the labs, of course, one of our infantry fighting vehicles, the labs. I will be doing a video on that in the future. Matsimus, can you do a video on night vision goggles? I've already done a video on night vision goggles, my friend. Go check it out. I recently just did one, the future of night vision goggles. Go check that out. Trigger discipline. Yeah, well, this is a completely safe rifle. I'm not playing around with my trigger, so we're all good here. Artillery, you say? You might as well be the second coming of Napoleon. Could you show us down the optic? I sure can. I can give it a try, see if this works. I don't know if it's gonna, but we will try. This is the Alcan C79. I'm going to try my best here, folks. We'll see what we can do. Hopefully it will work. Let's come back a little bit. A little left. A little right. We're trying. I'm trying, folks. I'm trying to see if you can see it, but I don't think you're going to be able to. Let's see here. No, I give up. It's basically just it's a standard post, guys. The standard post to the left and to the right is hash markings for a level playing site. So nothing fancy, really, nothing fancy. Hello, Venomous Gamer, welcome. Sweet optics, thank you, sir, thank you. What's the eye relief? My eye relief on this optic is a little funky. I'm still getting used to it. The retractable stock is really nice for my eye relief and cheek weld. I myself have a really weird eye relief. I tend to get a little bit closer to the rifle optic than I do with the Susat with this one. I'm saying within my eye relief, it's probably about 1.5 inches from lens to eye, but it depends. Like, this optic's a little funky, and I'm not looking through my full plane field of view here. So I'm thinking about 1.5 inches. It's not too bad for an optic of this kind, so it is quite old. Welcome, Owen Lee. We're just talking about the C7 rifle that I finally got. Have I seen snow in Afghanistan? I have not, my friend. It was too sunny at the time when I was there. I've never shot a gun, Matsimus. Well, Greg, one thing to experience in life, definitely try it. Just make sure you please do it in a safe environment and do it with somewhere that's completely legal. I don't want you getting in trouble. Good looking rifle you got there. Well, you're a communist Canadian, so I don't know if I should be thanking you for that or not, but, but thank you. Yes, if you're Canadian, I hope you get to enjoy me when we take this rifle baby to the range and put some rounds down it and actually practice doing some skills and drills. Don't grow a beard, the stock pulls the beard hair out. I ain't gonna grow any beard, and I never have and never will. I don't think I could ever do it. Thoughts on UK gun clubs? I don't have any experience with UK gun clubs, so I can't really tell. What are the laws on suppressors and short barrel rifles in Canada? We are not allowed short barrel rifles for the most part, depending on the length. It turns into a sidearm or a handgun, which you can have, but there's more restrictions. And we are not allowed suppressors at all. They are completely prohibited, which kind of sucks, and it makes no sense. Hey Matt, if you're ever near CFE Board in Toronto, whatever, we should hang out. Raw Canadian electromechanical names is always better than Remy. Yeah, sure they are, just because they got a Canadian heritage in there. But no, I'd love to, dude. I'd love to come join you in Borden there. What else we got going on? When you're older, you will like beard. When I'm older, dude, I'm 30 years old. I don't need no beard. If I wanted a beard, I would have had one by now. Have you ever thrown any grenade? Yes, I have thrown grenades before, just in practice though, not in combat. Could you cook bacon on a hot rifle barrel? Of course you could. If you actually knew the temperature of what barrels can get to, you could definitely cook bacon on there, including of that as your skin. And I've seen people grab a rifle when red hot from here before, or even from here when you've been putting super amounts of rounds down there. It can get bloody hot, it can burn, so you've got to be real careful. British Empire OP. For sure it is. British Empire is totally OP. 16 inches is the shortest we can have in the USA. I'm pretty sure that's not right. It depends on the state, I guess, that you live in. Buy a Beretta MX4 SMG. I wish I could, buddy, if I could afford it. Matsimus, in which part of Canada are you living? I live in Alberta, my friend. Hello to out east in Nova Scotia. Grenades are the most underwhelming thing ever. Totally agree, boosted media. Everybody gets so hyped over grenades. You see the movies, you think these high explosive hand grenades that are just like boom, and flames. There's no flames. It's literally like throwing a really powerful air balloon and throws dust and rocks everywhere. Like, of course, multiply that by 10, but it's nothing fancy. What else we got going on? Mongs rule. Yes, Mongs do rule. The chief king of Mongs right here. How long did it take you to get your restricted license? Didn't take me long, Thomas, honestly. I actually challenged the test when I first came to Canada. I went into a gentleman's house, which was kind of awkward, and said to him, you know, I'd like to get my restricted license. He said, okay, well, you can challenge the test. And I said, okay, I'll challenge the test. I did it on a couple of sidearms, and I didn't have to do a training course or anything. I just kind of knew how to operate a handgun correctly. And he just did the drills and skills with me and said, okay, you passed, here you go, here's your license application. I applied. Royal Canadian Mounted Police allowed me to have the rifle under some strict conditions. And that's it. That was how I got my restricted license, and that's why I can own this beautiful rifle today. It's 18 inches for shotgun barrels. Interesting. I'm enlisting in the United States Air Force tomorrow. Good luck, Kobe Boda. Good luck, buddy. Hope you're going to be flying F-16s and stuff. I don't know what you're going to do, but good for you. Make a video on the Lee Enfield. I'd love to. I'm actually going to buy one in the near future. I do have my SKS, which is a Russian surplus rifle, or I guess Chinese or Yugoslavian or wherever they come from nowadays. But I will do one day a Lee Enfield bolt action review. I'll get my own surplus Lee Enfield, but I can't afford it. I want to get my shotgun next, so we'll see how that goes. The Breakfast Brigade. Can you do a video on US Navy railguns on ships? Thank you very much for your donation, first and foremost. I really appreciate that. I have done a video on railguns, not specifically on ships, but I can look into it in the future for sure. But I have done a video on railguns, so feel free to go check that out. Can you do a video on the US Navy's use of railguns? Yeah, I just answered that. Sorry, but I just reread it. Do you own any shotguns or pistols? I want to own a shotgun. I want the Derya, D-E-R-Y-A, Mark 12 shotgun. It's a semi-automatic AR-15 shotgun. It's a spicy shotgun meatball. I really want it. It's a beautiful shotgun. I just got to save up the pennies. Of course, I just bought this beauty, so I'm going to have to work on her first, and then I'll get my shotgun. Aero Sheng Gaming, hello, Aero Sack Gaming. Hey, Samuel Ferris, welcome. You used to be able to buy a Lee Enfield for 20 bucks in Texas. Well, I wish I lived in Texas, because I'd be buying them more than the Lee Enfield, I can tell you that much. How does the C7 SA20 field strip? I won't field strip this right now because I don't want to be covered in oil. I know this thing's pretty oily right now. But it's pretty much the exact same thing as any other AR-15. Rear pin at the rear, rear pin pulls out. You drop the working part or the trigger mechanism housing down. It breaks in half like this. And then you have another pin here that you can pop out your bolt, and your slide comes up, okay, which actually slots out. You can then take your handguards off, you can disassemble your bolt, and that's pretty much going to be your quick field strip. I don't think you even disassemble the bolt on the C7. I'm still learning the drills and skills myself with the Canadian Army. What were you saying on next time? What's your opinion on the Rifles Regiment? I was based alongside Rifles, the Mercian regiments as well, when I was in Germany, so good regiment, really good bunch of guys. It's probably Chinese in Canada you can import in Rinko. Yes, I did have actually in the Rinko M14, I guess, or M305 clone. Fantastic rifle actually, considering its price. It is a knockoff M1 rifle, or M14 rifle, but overall it's a lot of fun. And this is my baby. Jeff Gunstone, thank you Jeff for your donation. Thank you very, very much, I appreciate that. Why did I move to Canada? That's a very long story. Part and parcel of me moving to Canada is that I love the country. I love living here, the people here, the environment, the countryside, the weather. I mean, everybody hates the cold, but I enjoy the cold, being in the mountains, you go skiing and whatever. And I just fell in love with the country when I came over here with the British Army training. And it was just an environment I wanted to be a part of, and I could raise my family here. Being in the UK, honestly, I couldn't see myself raising a family in the neighbourhoods that I lived in. They were rough, they were gnarly, they were just gross. And when I moved here, I was like, wow, this is like a diamond compared to the UK. So that's kind of why I moved here. I hope that answered your question. So there you go. How effective is it against Mongs? Well, this rifle is probably very effective against Mongs. Of course, I would never use it against Mongs. I would never use it against another person. This is purely for target shooting, as every rifle that you see here on this table is. I don't do hunting. I have hunted coyotes and gophers with this guy before, but honestly, I don't hunt. It's just not a thing for me. Matt, are you planning on going to any gaming cons? I'd love to, actually, but unfortunately, I don't have the money or the time to. Matsimus, are you interested in a Type 95 rifle? I'd love a Type 95 rifle. Peter Angari, nice rifle, Matt. Congrats. Thank you, buddy. I really appreciate that. What's better on the Bushmaster or Bofors? I'd honestly say they're both quite equal. The Bofors has their own different mentality to the Bushmaster. A bit more heavy caliber, anyway. Check out some of my messages on your Facebook channel. Yeah, sorry, Pete, or people who have been messaging me on Facebook. I don't use Facebook much. I'm really cringe when it comes to social media. So I apologise if I've not been replying to you. But just keep sending them. I will eventually get round to them. Mongs are people too. Yes, they are. What are tips when shooting the M16 or M4? I'm thinking of joining the Malaysian Army Reserve. The tips are, take your time, learn your marksmanship principles, position and hold must be firm enough to support the rifle. Rifle must point naturally at the target without any undue disturbance to the position. The shot must be fired, or the sight alignment and sight picture must be correct, and the shot must be fired and followed through without any undue disturbance to the position. Those 4 marksmanship principles is going to make you shoot any of these rifles and any rifle in general better. Have you ever fired the MG3? No, I haven't, but I would love to. Will you change the Canadian rifles? Will you change with the Canadian rifles and LADs unto hell? Not sure what you mean there, my friend. Do you know about Forgotten Weapons? Yes, I do. I'm a subscriber. I love his channel. Very, very good good channel there. Please, more Hmong videos. Sterling, I will get round to it. You find me good footage, and I'll make some Hmong videos about them. I may not stay on the stream for long, but your videos are great. Thank you, Biohazard Z1. I appreciate that, bud. Sergeant Cookie, Spitfire OP. Spitfire not OP. Spitfire deserves to be having that particular status. It prevented me from being German. Where's Tank? I'll actually see if Tank can come downstairs. He might not, because there's no, there's guns around, guys. No, I'm not going to bring Tank down because he's not a big fan of guns. He's a bit of a baby. He's a big suck, so I'm going to leave him upstairs. I'll leave him upstairs because I know he'll just get upset. I can't sing. I'm not going to bring Doggo down. I'm sorry, guys. He's just not a big fan of guns. He's a big baby. You know, his name's Tank, but at the end of the day, he's a baby. So I'm not going to bring him down here. Just get worked up. And he's old, so I don't want to stress him out. You know, he is getting old now. So, what do you think of the new F90 bullpup rifle? Well, if it's a bullpup, I have a lot of respect for it. But I've never actually operated it or used it or seen much of it, so I can't give a massive opinion on it. Have I ever used another soldier's backpack as a positioning for putting on your gun? Not really. I've used my own day sack to put my own firing position down, but not really someone else's. Should Canada buy an aircraft carrier? Yes, 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 yes. For sure we should. Is that the weird scout rifle? No, it's not a scout rifle. SKS Savage Savage Mako 22 rifle, C7 or SA20, and my Accuracy International 223. Baby Tank might call me Humphrey Stewart. We can't import Narinkos because they tried to sell RPGs. Correct. You guys in the States cannot take Narinko rifles because they are Chinese. Under the embargo, you're not allowed to have them. Donovan, thank you very, very much. I really appreciate it. Could you visit Big Sandy Chute in Arizona? I'm not too sure where that is, but I'd love to. I'm presuming it's a big range. That'd be fun to go to. But thank you so much for your donation, buddy. I really appreciate that. My dogs don't like guns either. Yeah, I don't know why. Something about his past. I think he was a gun dog, like a shotgun dog. And I think his owners didn't appreciate or respect the fact that he just didn't like guns. And I think they just kind of rolled with it anyway, which is kind of sad. What about shooting the Dushka? You buy me a Dushka or find me a Dushka I can shoot, and I'll shoot it. Can you make a video on the new RCN ships, please? Royal Canadian Navy ships. Do we have new ships? I didn't hear about it. Which guns give you a boner? None of these guns give me a boner. Unfortunately, I'm only attracted to the female form and not the metallic iron piston operated form. But if anyone was to give me one, it would probably be the one I'm holding right now because I love the smooth, sweet action of the bolt. That's cringy. The Breakfast Brigade, thank you again for your donation, buddy. I appreciate that. If you could go to a SHOT Show, I would love to. Please remove user Tushmak. He's asking inappropriate questions. I should really make mods for my streams, but honestly, just ignore the idiots, guys, whatever. Got any bayonets? I do. I have the British Army bayonet, which is in my other room there. Again, Breakfast Brigade, thank you for your donation. So is Tank a liberal because he hates guns? He's not a liberal. Don't call my dog a liberal. No, he's just. I think he's had an experience in the past with his previous owners that kind of burnt him a little bit. Favorite Kevlar helmet? I don't really have a favorite. My Mark 6 Alpha did me quite well in Afghanistan, so I guess that kind of is my preference. Do you have a tritium optic on the C7? There's no tritium left in this particular optic. It would have had if it was fully serviced, but the C79A2 optic from Elkin is the Elkin, or the scope that I have on this rifle here. I'm going to put down my beautiful bolt action and pick up my C7 again, so you guys can see. So this is the Elkin C79A2. It does not have any tritium left inside of it, but it would if it was a service-issued rifle. So your Mark 6 Alpha isn't Kevlar, it's ballistic nylon. Okay, I stand corrected, I apologize. Would you consider playing magazine-fed paintball? I'd love to. I want to get into airsoft. In fact, I'm super keen on potentially buying myself a gas blowback L85A2 rifle, a SA80 rifle. Maybe buying myself a chest rigs and gear and going to do some paintball in the summer or some airsofting. I think it would be fun. I've been really triggered myself by telling myself, don't try airsoft because you're going to hate it and you're going to be getting pissed off with little kids and blah, blah, blah. But I think, honestly, I think it would be fun to give it a go. And, you know, give it a try. And if it doesn't work out, just sell it and try something else. So I'm looking at eventually buying all these things I want to buy. The L85A2 gas blowback rifle. So we'll see how that goes. It is a 4-power scope, a fixed scope, obviously. Adjustable up to around 600 meters, I believe. The range drum takes us up to, let's have a look here. 800 meters, so it's probably not effective up to 800 meters, but it does have an 800 meter range drum. Would you ever do a tank versus tank comparison video? I kind of have done them sort of things, if you kind of piece together some of my videos together, but I don't do much comparison videos, so I apologize. Doesn't perform proper safety check. I have done all safety checks on this rifle, folks. If you've just got to my stream, this rifle is completely clear, is completely safety checked, so if I'm playing with the action and stuff, don't get triggered, literally, it's completely safe, so don't get mad. Can you make a video on the Leopard 3? There's no such thing as the Leopard 3, so no, I cannot. How about the Scud missile system? Yeah, I could probably do a video on the Scud missile system in the future. Of course, my brethren in the British Army and the SAS took on the Scuds back in the day, or Bravo 20. Unfortunately, never really made it to the objective. Do a comparison between the Super Hornet and the F-35. I kind of did a bit of a video about that. If you go check it out, I did a comparison between the F-18 and the F-35 a little bit in terms of replacements, so go check that out. Apparently airsoft is banned in my country because the government thinks they can kill people. Yeah, that's kind of sad. It's just the world we live in today, isn't it, really? That C7 is a beauty. Yes, Panzerwaffe, she is a beauty. Absolute gorgeous rifle. I cannot wait to take it to the range. When I find some time, I will be doing so. Unfortunately, right now, I'm just going to have to wait to take her out because I just don't have the time to do so. And eventually, I will, and I'll take you with, and we'll do some footage of it. Would you ever do a video of French tanks in the Second World War? Second World War stuff is coming, folks, in the long future. Of course, primarily my videos are about modern day equipment and tactics and stuff, so I try and focus on that more because I don't know too much about World War II history, so I'd just be, rolling from a book for the most part when it comes to World War II stuff. But it will come eventually, so don't worry. Do you like the current Canadian flag or the Canadian red ensign flag? I love the current Canadian flag. Ever thought about doing policing? I have actually many times thought about doing policing. I've even considered looking into a new career in the near future here, but something I've been kind of debating with myself about whether or not I want to do, but we'll see. So stay tuned in the future, you never know. Do I like the F-15 Nuka Gaming? Yes, I do like the F-15. I did a video on it recently. A fantastic multi-role air superiority fighter. Of course, some more modern day fighter jets out there now replacing it in the near future, but still a very capable fighter. What province do I live in? I live in Alberta. I do indeed. No handgun. No, I don't have a handgun, unfortunately. I sold all my handguns. Do you hear some voices and then jump up wanting to shoot? And no, I do not. What else we got going on here? Is the F-35 It's a 3.5 power scope, not a 4 power scope. I apologize, see? I learn something new every day. I don't know much about this rifle yet. I'm still getting used to it, so thank you for the corrections. What are the Canadian gun laws like? Honestly, I think the Canadian gun laws are fantastic. I don't have a major problem with them. A lot of people are very upset and triggered by them. I come from a country where we don't have any of this kind of stuff. I would never be able to use this rifle back home. So I don't have the right to bitch about any Canadian gun laws. The fact that I'm allowed to own this rifle and go this weekend to shoot it, I'm blessed. So I'm not going to bitch about Canadian gun laws in any way, shape or form. I'm happy the way they are. I don't think there can always be improvements. I can always ask for more. But for what I have and what I'm blessed to have, I'm not going to complain about it. Do you support Chelsea Football Club? I don't follow football, and I certainly would be following Chelsea if it was. Do they have guns? I'm not too sure who you're talking about, who they have guns. This gun is a beauty. Yes, it is. Where was home in the UK? Home in the UK, Chris Ryan, was originally in just north of London, and then I moved up to Newcastle when I was a little later on in my youth. And then I joined the British Army at 16 and moved to Harrogate, Army Foundation College, Harrogate in York. Do I have a scar? Does it look like I have a scar? I mean, I have scars on my body, my arms covered in ink scars, but no, I do not have a scar rifle, and if I did, I'd probably have to sell a kidney to buy it. Am I going to shoot up Vegas? Really though, why would you ask a question like that? Have you thought about putting a fixed stock on the C7? Nope, it's going to stay exactly like you see it. I'm not going to modify this rifle in any way. This rifle is to signify my, I guess my acceptance into the Canadian Armed Forces. Really, and that's it. It's just there as a staple, as more of an heirloom to say this is my acceptance into the Canadian Army. Any suggestions for a first gun for me and my dad? Carter, let me know where you live first and I can give you some opinions. Come down to Wolf's Den Sports Archery Gun Range in Barrie, Ontario. I'd love to, buddy. You want to fly me out there? I'll come shoot all day with you. Let me know. First recommendation for first tattoo. Justin, I'm not going to recommend tattoos, dude. That's something you've got to do all on your own. I'm sorry. Neil Smith, congratulations. I'm not sure who you're congratulating. I haven't got a bayonet for it, but I'm tempted to get one. I do need to actually get a tri-rail that clips onto the front here, which is a standard issue tri-rail that the Canadian Armed Forces get. Basically 3 Picatinny mounts that go from the 6, 3 and 9 o'clock positions of this particular front iron sight here to allow you to put attachments on there, whether it be a flashlight or IRs, whatever it may be. So you can kind of flick that stuff on there. You can get a bayonet for this guy in the civilian market. It's $300 or $250, I think it is. That is an insane price for a brittle bayonet. I mean, a bayonet is not there to use to cut. It's there to stab, which makes it very brittle and very cheap. I would never pay that much money for a bayonet. So maybe in the future, if I find one real cheap, I'll buy one and stick it on the end of this thing for pure aesthetics. Apart from that, though, I'm never going to spend that much money on a bayonet. In Canada, you can't own a SCAR platform. Didn't know that, but thanks for letting me know. SU-57 video, when? I'm not sure, buddy. Whenever I get around to it. Like I said, I've got a very long list of stuff to do. Thank you for your service. I'm American, by the way, but you still indirectly defended my country. Thank you, Christian Taylor. I appreciate that. You don't have to thank me, in any way, shape, or form. There's no requirement, but thank you anyway. Label bayonet against the world. Where in Canada are you? I'm in Alberta. I'm in the western side of Canada, Breakfast Brigade. With some guns, you do hate iron sights. Honestly, I've never had a problem with iron sights. I use iron sights in the SKS. Have no issue with it at all. I'm pretty accurate with it for the most part. I can, hit some pretty good groupings with this guy. I don't have much of a problem with it. Some people really hate iron sights. I can kind of see their opinion on it. I like actually even having a carry handle on my rifle. It just feels more easy to maneuver around vehicles and such than having something that doesn't have a carry sight. But it's nice to have the optics when you need it, for sure. Springtime, thank you, sir, for your donation. I really appreciate that. Thank you. So for a Star H in the USA in Alaska, it's about oh my god. That is insane pricing for a rifle. Like, I just don't understand why it's so much. Just crazy, 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 crazy. But I guess some people will pay it if they want to, have the cool Scar rifle, which, honestly, it's a rifle that putting the same round down range than most other rifles. Maybe it's doing it exceedingly well in terms of looking pretty and special, but it does the same principle as what any other rifle would. So I can't justify spending that much money on a rifle. I'd love to if I had the money. $1,600 from ACOG, you can get them for $80. I don't think you're getting a legit ACOG for $80. If you actually knew how ACOG rifles scopes work, you would not be getting a legit one for $80. What are your thoughts on the ACR rifle? Don't know much about it, haven't used much of it, or even been around it, haven't used it at all, so I can't put my opinion on it. Do you have space to shoot on your property, or do you just go into the range? I can only go to the range, folks. I don't have any space on my property. I wish I lived in a ranch and I could shoot, these rifles. I couldn't shoot this one here, but I could shoot these three on my own property if I had the space, but not this guy. I wish though. Any gun with a 7.60 by 51mm that I'd recommend? Savage Model 10 308 rifle. My first ever rifle I owned. Go grab it. Any Savage bolt action rifle. Beautiful. Which gun do you suggest? Oh my god. Why are there people that put comments like that out there? I don't understand how you sleep better at night, that you think you're so funny leaving a comment like that. And you don't have children, but one day you potentially will. And you will understand that, like, your little comment that you fired on YouTube about school shootings that you find absolutely tragically hilarious isn't hilarious. It's sad. It's really sad. I mean, I find it funny because it's kind of like my Discord channel. Like, people make these comments that think they're so witty and so new with their humor, and it's so dark that, like, their popularity just goes, "Ooh, that's like the most cringiest comment you can ever make," and it's so funny. But until you actually realize how people are affected by stuff like that, and you know of people that have kids that have been affected like that, you're just a bad person. Like, the people in this stream right now that make comments like that, about like school shootings and stuff, that find it humorous, you're a bad person. I'm telling you right now, I'm looking at you. You're a bad person, and karma will get you. I promise you it will get you. So I hope you deserve every ounce of what you get when you make comments like that. And one day, if you have kids, I hope for the love of God it never has to happen to your children. So, just something to think about in the background. Move the coffee table and show some tactical moves. No, I'm probably not going to be involving myself in any tactical moves because I'll probably tactically break my neck or back. A 30-year-old fat, overweight, reserve soldier is probably not a good idea. Matt, what do you think about the HK416? An absolutely fantastic rifle. Never used it. I know a lot of people who have. A couple of my buddies are actually working in close protection in private contracting, and they love the rifle. They're not going to talk about too much what they do, but overall they just love it. That's actually their standard rifle that they use on a day-to-day basis. So, hence why I've done a video in the past about relating very well to the 416 rifle, because I honestly think it would be a fantastic replacement for the British Army SA-80. So, HK416 is dope. It is. It really is. Opinion on the TAR-21. I'd love to try the TAR-21. It does look very, very interesting rifle, but I've never really shot it, so I can't put much opinion on it. Thank you for your service. Enjoy the heck out of your videos and cheers. Thank you, Johnny on the move. I appreciate that, buddy. What will your first airsoft gun be? Brint 4. My first airsoft gun will probably be a gas blowback L85A2 bullpup rifle, the SE80. I love the blowback. I love having the operating, the working parts operating. I think that's a lot of fun. I'll probably get myself a cheap chest rig, maybe some cheap combats, and give it a go. I've never tried it. I think it'd be fun. I'll probably get really triggered very quickly when a 12-year-old comes up to me and tells me one of these little, shooting school jokes, and I'll just want to punch him in the face, which I can't obviously do. So I'll probably just walk off the field and go home and cry myself to sleep. But it's definitely something I want to try, so we'll look in the future and see what we can get with some airsofting. Did you do any unarmed training in the British Army? I currently do Krav Maga with this armor bloke. I did very little. I mean, the Royal Marines do a lot of that kind of stuff, the hand-to-hand stuff. We did it for battle PT, kind of more for fun than anything. It's not really training. They don't ever tell you to use it, or it's not a practice that you use. If someone was to come up to me in a combat environment hand-to-hand, I'd just be going at it myself. It'd just be pure rage than it would be skill. So, I mean, no, they don't really teach you hand-to-hand combat. Any firearm you could own, what would it be? I'd love to have a Barrett 50 cal. Like, that would be a fun gun to have. Like, just its pure firepower from a box magazine, 10 rounds, 50 cal ball ammunition. Like, who wouldn't want one of those? Semi-automatic gun? For sure I would. Hey Matt, are you going to make more Soviet armor tactics videos? Yeah, I definitely will. Stay tuned. I take my time researching, Russian doctrine. I find it very interesting. It's hard to find good, valuable sources, or viable sources, so it will come. Stay tuned. Breakfast Brigade, I'd like to thank you for your service. Thank you, Breakfast Brigade. I appreciate that. You don't have to thank me, though, and you certainly don't have to donate to do so, but I appreciate that. Thank you very much. Boosted media. Someone's giving a fire mission in my stream now. Good. I like it. Good. Get some fire missions out there. I need to start learning all that sort of stuff. I mean, I don't know anything about the artillery, so I really need to get my head in the books and start learning that stuff. It's one thing I'm actually really scared about, well, not scared about, but kind of nervous about going into the Canadian artillery. Is I know, let's see what time we're on here, folks. Oh, goodness. It's pretty late at night, 20 past 9 at night. I'm kind of nervous about going into the artillery because it's a completely different trade to me. I really got to get my head in the books and start learning how to be a gunner because it's a completely different trade skill to what I'm used to with the Arena and tanks and mechanics and stuff. So, I know, Boosted Media. I know you sent me the PAMs. I'm gonna start reading when I get round to it. You got to teach me how to do some rifle drill with this sucker, though, like the old, present arms and all that good stuff, because it's very different to what the L85 is. So maybe we'll do a little private live stream one day, and we'll go through some rifle drill, because I'm sure it's a little different to what I'm used to. In the L85, it's all this sort of stuff, a little different, I think, to what you guys do. So maybe we'll do a little training session one day, and you guys can teach me exactly how to do C7 rifle drill. Would you be interested in upsized caliber for military use? Depending on what side of caliber, I'd always go for bigger caliber if it's practical. Do I like the C7? Lady Luck, I do like the C7. I haven't shot this very much yet. I have shot a C7 before. I haven't actually shot one in the reserves yet, so it's going to be interesting, other than the SAT range. So it's going to be interesting taking this one to the range. I'm probably going to try this weekend, giving it a go and putting some rounds down range. But we will see how I do, and trying to zero it in and see if I can actually make a good shot of this thing or not. And we'll see if I can get my eye relief set and zero into at least 100 meters. I'll bring her up to 300 meters, but we'll see how we do, I guess. Matt, do you plan on a Elysian IL-2 video? Probably not, my friend. Not until the long, long future. Matsimus, would you be opposed to Canadian statehood? Not too sure what statehood is. I'm a Hmong. Hmongs don't know fancy words like that, and it sounds like politics, and I don't do politics, so I don't know. Any suggestions for anyone who's planning to join the Canadian Army soon? Mr. Wilbur or L. Wilbur, fitness, focus on your fitness, focus on just knowing exactly where you want to be and the kind of career choice you want to make, and just be prepared, just mentally, just prepare yourself if that's what you want to do. Don't just do it because you think it's what you want to do. You need to be passionate about it. If you're not passionate about it, don't just join it to get a qualification or join it to do this. You need to be passionate about that career choice, because if you don't and you get in there, you're going to hate it. Are you going to invest in some polymer magazines? I am not. I love PMags, I really do. But in terms of application for what I'm doing, I don't like PMags because they get fouled up. They get stuck. PMags swell sometimes too. depending on the batch that was put through the molding machine. I've never had a problem with PMags personally. I like USGI though, just because I like the metallic feel rather than the PMag plastic. But don't have a problem with PMags. The various versions that come out, P1, P2, P3 mags, very, very good mags. I actually own some for my PWS Mark 116 rifle, but I felt they fouled. They really didn't slip in very good in that smooth ooh yeah slip. It just didn't feel right. So I'll stick with my USGI. I only have one right now. So I'm probably going to go this weekend to my local gun store and see if I can pick up a few more USGI mags to kind of tinker around with and do some potential speed reloads, Try and get another round magazine in there and get firing and all that good stuff, and, but we'll see. How much do I have to pay to go down on your kid's slide? Oh, Chris, you're such a mong. You red rock mong, you. No, I'm not going down my slide, red rock. Jeff, stop sending me money. Ammunition fund. Thank you, Jeff. I appreciate that. I was probably going to buy me around 10 5.56 for this baby this weekend, so thank you. I appreciate that. Do you prefer bolt action rifles to semi-automatic? That's a good question. Honestly, I love my bolt action rifle. I really do. I love the feel that you have being able to load the round in each time and the kind of the dexterity to putting a new round into the chamber. But at the same time, it is a convenience of being able to pop a round down each time without having to break your firing position to reload that round. I mean, you're not really breaking your firing position much when you're doing the bolt, but I don't know. I don't have a preference for either. I like both, I guess, firing methods for the most part. So. Where is the food? C7 type rifle in 308. How does that sound? It sounds a little overkill. But I do like 308 rounds, so potentially a DMR in 308 would make sense for sure. Matt, got any funny POG stories? I got lots of POG stories, but I don't have time for him to tell them today. This man has an SKS, he gets it. Yeah, I do, I actually really enjoy my SKS. It's a lot of fun, purely because I can put 1,000 rounds down this thing and still have money left over to put some more rounds down these three things. And plus, it's an SKS. I mean, you've got to have some, surplus rifle in there somewhere, especially from the Eastern world, and anything that comes with a bayonet, I mean, of course I'm going to buy it. It is a little interesting to fire, for sure. Its iron sight's capability is very primitive, but it works. It's pretty accurate. I mean, it's nothing fancy. I didn't buy it for accuracy. I bought it for fun. And this rifle is a lot of fun, for sure, to shoot at the range. How regular are these streams? Hayden, honestly, I don't stream very often because my picture quality is so bad. And I find that when I do a lot of streams, it doesn't work out very well. I can't get good stream quality, or it's very, it just doesn't look good. So I try my best to keep my streams to a minimum if I can get good quality. And it looks like this one's working out quite well. So maybe I'll increase my quality, or my quantity of streams a little more. So stay tuned. I'm still confused about the Canadian gun laws. Can you actually shoot that AR? Yes, I can own it and I can shoot it as long as I shoot it at an approved firing range. I cannot shoot it outside in the countryside or wherever, unlike some of these rifles. I could take this rifle into private land, these three here, shoot them wherever I wish to as long as it's in a safe environment. This rifle I can only put into my case, drive to the range, shoot it, put it back in my case, drive home, and that's it. That is the legality of firing an AR-15 platform. So it's a little awkward, but it is what it is. What's your favourite field meal? 24-hour ration pack, British Army, I'll probably eat any of them, but I don't really have a favourite. You've answered this before, but what is your role in the Army? My role in the Army now is I'm trying to train to become an artillery gunner in the reserves. My previous role, I was a tank driver, operator, mechanic, technician, pretty much a heavy tank technician, repairing any tracked vehicle, or any vehicle really, but primarily tracked vehicles in the British Army, on the front line, behind lines, wherever it may be, wherever the vehicles break down, I'd be there fixing them. Don't forget you're limited to a 5-round mag. Yes, and we only have the 5-round mag pinned, which to me is fine. I don't need anything more than 5 rounds to target shoot. Not a big deal at all. Are you down for a Legion meetup at the SHOT Show? I'd love to meet you guys at the SHOT Show. When is the SHOT Show? I'm not too sure it is, but If I could afford to go, dude, I'd love to meet you all at the SHOT Show. It'd be awesome. I'd have a big Legion meetup. If you're not used to the Legion or what that is, it's my Discord server. Discord is a application on which you can talk via a voice chat or a text chat. It's really fun. I have a lot of fun chatting to you folks on there on a day-to-day basis. I use my cell phone and just text away to you folks. Some really fun people in there. It does have some rules, of course, so please feel free to stop by, abide by the rules. I beg of you. I don't want to have to kick people out. If you're not on my Discord, go check it out. Come hang out with us. We play some video games on there too. We have discussions, some more serious than others. Sometimes we just chat the shit and just make shit up. Sometimes we have some quite serious discussions, historical chats. I don't do politics on my server, unfortunately, just because it gets really heated, so I apologize for that. It's actually one of the rules. If you want to stop by and hang out on my Discord, feel free to do so. But I would love to, Red Rock, or come hang out with you guys at the SHOT Show. I just can't afford it, man. It's just not going to work. How old would you say is too old to join the military? What do you think it's worth trying if you have a disability? Always give things a go, dude. Don't let something like a disability or whatever it may be that you think you can't do something, just do it. Just try it. If you don't try, you never do it, regardless. So just give it a go. I don't think you can ever be too old to do something in the military. There's always a particular branch of the armed forces that may require your skills. I know people of 65, nearly 70 still serving, doing particular roles that they still do today that are required by the Army, whether it just be paperwork or a padre. There's still the opportunity for you to do stuff like that. So don't ever think that you can't. Give it a go. Breakfast Brigade again, thank you again for your donation. Matt, I'm wondering what branch of the Canadian military I should join. I was thinking Navy, but maybe Army. Also, Discord invite. My Discord invites are in my previous videos. Go check it out in the description box. In terms of joining the Canadian military, Navy or the Army, it's down to your own personal preference. I would never join the Navy because I hate the ocean, I hate the sea, and I can't imagine being sealed inside a steel container, sinking, drowning, and water flowing into my lungs. I'd rather have blood flowing into my lungs with one of these little guys being shot at me than I would being encased in water and steel and sinking to the bottom of the ocean. At least my body would be, able to be carried back to my family to be buried. That's just where I'm at. In terms of, that's kind of the dark side of things. But in terms of, career trading, I just feel like for me, an Army lifestyle gave me a lot more opportunities in the civilian world than it would in the Navy world. That's completely subjective to my opinion, though. And I don't like the sea, so of course I'm not going to join the Navy to do something on land afterwards. That being said, you can join the Army and do things at sea, and you can join the Navy and do things on land. So it's whatever you feel that you have a preference to. So, but thank you again for your donation. I appreciate it. What's the weirdest thing you've ever seen a soldier using effectively, like decontamination, toothbrushes, scrub and rifles? The most effective thing I've ever seen people use is a mortar tube, so an old mortar ammunition tube, which if you're British serving or British Army, you know what I'm talking about. We have two mortar tubes that the ammunition gets put in, so that the 120 millimeter, I think they are, or 82 millimeter, or 88 millimeter mortars get put into two plastic tubes to hold the ammunition. You actually take the top end of that and you cut it off, and it makes a perfect mug, like a perfect mug. And you wrap some paracord around the handle, keep it comfy and squeeze. It makes a perfect brew mug. You just wash it out, and there you go. You've got a mug. It's absolutely fantastic. So that's the first time I ever seen that. I'm like, that's a pretty smart idea. Saves them going into garbage anyway. Christian D. Matt apparently getting deployed a lot earlier than expected. Well, Bones, if you are getting deployed, my friend, I first of all am very proud to know that that I know someone like yourself who's about to deploy. So thank you again for your service, buddy. I know you're new into your career, but I'm very proud to know that I'm a friend of yours that's going to deploy. I believe you're deploying to Iraq, and if you are, hats off to you, buddy. It's going to be probably a challenging but very rewarding tour. Take every second of it in. You're probably preparing and planning and getting everything ready to go, which is natural, but hear me out here, honestly. When you deploy, just enjoy every second of it. Embrace the suck. I'm actually going to be doing a video on this in the future called Embracing the Suck, because at the end of the day, it's not a British Army term we use, embracing the suck. It's an American thing, but I've kind of related to it more now, being in the Canadian Army and kind of transitioning from British to US doctrine in between with the Canadians. But embrace the suck. When you get there, you're going to hate it. You might hate the heat. You might hate the people you're working with, the threat factor of being potentially killed every second. Just embrace it, because you're going to get to go, and you're going to finish it, and you're going to say, I hated that. And you're going to sit in my shoes 10 years from now, and you're going to say, I wish I did that again. Or I wish I'd enjoyed that more, or lived the moment more. Take a GoPro, take a camera, take as many frickin' pictures as you can, within reason, and just enjoy every single minute of your deployment. Because at the end of the day, don't be me sat here 10 years time from where you are and regret not doing more or not involving yourself more. I was super involved in my tour, but there were many times that I felt like I could have, really applied myself a little more and stopped bitching about it and getting on with it. Something that I regret to this day. I hope that when you deploy, you're not going to be that way, and I'm sure you're not going to. But just enjoy every second of it. Embrace the suck. Embrace it. Take it on and just enjoy it and learn from it and better yourself from it, and you'll come out as a better soldier, but as a better person overall. So I know that's really cliche, and I sound like your fucking dad talking to you. For any else of you that are out there that are going to deploy, but stick to your guns. Be a good person. Don't, when I went to operational deployment, I saw a lot of things that went on that shouldn't have happened. Be a good person. Stick to your morals. I don't know what your morals are, but just stick to them, whether they're good or bad. Stick to them. Stick to your guns. And just come home safe, dude. That's the number one priority, is come home safe. Don't do anything stupid. What else we got going on? Discord link boosted me. Oh, there's the Discord link. Thank you for the Discord link boosted. I appreciate it. Join the army next year. Any tips? The Alone Brazilian Dude. That's an interesting name. Well, if you're in Brazil, then obviously you're going to be challenged by the heat and the humidity. So I'd probably start training for, a lot of long distance running and training in times of, humid climates, and start getting used to acclimatizing yourself and running with equipment on and maybe some rucks and stuff. So practice your fitness for sure. What's the most frustrating thing about being in a tank crew? The most frustrating thing about being in not a tank crew, but an armored fighting crew, is the spatial awareness. You really get so used to being hatched down and locked in that everything around you in the vehicle just seems a lot more distant, further away. When it's not. It's actually right in front of you. So it gets a little annoying when you're trying to, drive down narrow alleys and stuff, and you're really trying to adjust to how close and far things are away from you. That can be a bit of an adjustment. Yeah, I got the C7 Bourbon. I got it. Here she is, although she's not actually a C7. She's an SA-20 civilian version. This is not fully automatic, so unfortunately, in the Canadian variant, this is a civilian-issued C7A2 rifle, otherwise known as the SA-20. But yes, I did get it, and I will be taking her to the range, hopefully, this weekend. Were the Warrior engineering vehicles you worked on ever equipped with slat armor? Yes, they were. We had Chobham, bar armor, and slat armor on them, which, of course, you can probably be well aware that the vehicle engines and power plants did not like driving around with that much weight on. They were sluggish, they were slow. The number of power pack changes we had to do because of the amount of up-armoring we did on them was insane. But when you are going to let me add music box to Discord, I will let you add the damn music board to my Discord when I have time. I honestly, when I come on Discord, you guys bug me with so many different things. You can have your music bot, I will get round to it, I promise. Did you get those tats in the army? I got a couple of tats in the army, and my body's kind of covered with them, which I'm not going to show you right now. I'm getting another one next week, hopefully. My tattoo artist let me know, so it's going to be exciting. But I didn't get all of my tattoos in the army. I got a couple, and the rest I got when I left. So, ever got to fire the L115 when in our army? Is that Gaz? I think it's Gaz or Gareth, or I don't know what you like to be called, but I'm pretty sure you're the para that continually reminds me that he's a para. No, I did not use the L115 when I was in the army, unfortunately. Remember, I'm a Renf, so we only got to fire anything that's low-key. I'm just kidding. But no, I did not get to fire the L115. Which protection system should you like on the Challenger? Any protection system on Challenger. But honestly, I think the Challenger 2, in terms of operational deployment in the future, it's not going to happen. I think the days of the Challenger 2 are limited, very limited. I don't think they're going to invest too much money in protective systems. It'd be nice to see the trophy system go on there. It seems like a tried and true system. So maybe Israel and Raytheon will allow them to transfer trophy onto Challenger 2, but who knows? Any interest in owning a Bren gun? I'd love to own a Bren gun, but unfortunately we can't own them here in Canada. You need a prohibited license. Is this actually live? I thought I was watching an old video. No, this is live, dude. You are live with Matsimus on Saturday night. Tuesday night. when will I play Roblox? I will not play Roblox, mainly because it sounds like cockblocks, and it kind of worries me that people play that game, especially when the main premise of the game is a yellow character going, "Oh!" And so I probably won't be playing Roblox. Have I ever been in conflict? Yes, I have been in conflict. I have been in Afghanistan in a conflict environment. Yeah, it's a pretty good oof. It's not the best oof. Oh, oh! I can't do oofs very well anymore. I used to be able to do oofs really good, so. Running a Norinco CQA currently. Nightfall Furniture, Bushnell TR site. Nice, man. Nice. Bourbon, that's it. I mean, I actually had a Norinco M305, which is an M14 clone. I loved it. It was just a pig to feed, firing 7.62 ammunition. After a while, it eats up your bank account, man. But that's a nice rifle. I hope you enjoy it. Just a broad Matsimus. What is the scope and the power of the Desert Sand finish rifle? I have no idea, dude. I'm sorry, I have no idea. Are the C-130s really slow compared to the C-17? Not really, I don't think so. Hold on, C-17? Yes. C-17 is a jet-powered aircraft. Of course it's going to be slower than that. And live from Alberta, it's Tuesday Night Live. Yeah, we are live from Alberta, and it's 9:38 at night. It's been a long stream. Also, Matt, what is your best armor for a tank? Whatever you guess is thrown the most powerful armor is when you make the armor pounds out of melted Nokia phones. They will bounce cruise missiles. I'm sorry, phone books is the way to go for armor packages now. Welcome back, Andrew. Welcome back. What weapons do you commonly see besides the obvious used by insurgents in Afghanistan? I don't know who you're talking about is using common weapons, so maybe just reiterate your question. What do I have to do to make you go down on my kid's slide? I'm not going on my kid's slide, okay? I will break it. I'm a fat 30-year-old man, okay? I will destroy my slide. You will ruin my kids' dreams and hopes of going down the slides this summer if you send me down that slide. There's no money that's going to get me to go down that slide. Let's get right into the guns. Yes, Dagger Dog, welcome. If you just arrived here, folks, we are playing around with I'm putting the magazine in the wrong way, you mong. We are playing around with the C7A2 rifle, otherwise known as the the SA-20 civilian version. This rifle is completely clear. I'm operating it on a dry basis. There's no rounds in the magazine or in the chamber, so if you're just here, please be aware everything is completely safe. I'm just practicing dry firing practice. Yes, I have got a C7, folks, if you just arrived, so I'll be shooting it hopefully this weekend. Really love this rifle. I can't wait to shoot it. I'm not going down that slide. Stop telling me I'm going down the slide. Go on the slide, we'll pay you. The slide isn't even in the basement, folks. It's outside, and it's like -10. It's covered in ice. I'm not going down the slide. Wait until the summer. We'll reconvene. Which is better, this or the M4A1? I've never used the M4A1, but we're going to try this sucker out. We're going to put it through a pace and see how I feel with it compared to my L85A2. C7, otherwise known as M16 wannabe. Yeah, Christian, whatever you say, dude. Whatever you say. I'm pretty happy with how this rifle is going to go. We'll see how I do with the extended 20-inch barrel, but I missed my PWS, actually, my 16-inch piston-driven rifle, which is definitely not an M4, but it's expensive, so I sold it away. Can you stream yourself shooting it? Probably not, because I can guarantee my cellular data coverage isn't going to give me a steady stream for this rifle, but we will see. I can always try. We will see what we do when we go and see if it'll let me get a good stream out, but if it doesn't, I'll just do a nice quality, high definition video of me shooting it and talk about it, discuss it, strip it down, see how I do shooting and, you know, ranging it in and all that good stuff. My other rifles are kind of screaming to me like, hold me too, hold me too. Matt, were you ever a Hmong? I am always a Hmong. Like, look at me. I'm sat in my basement with 4 rifles talking to my, subscribers on the phone across the room. Of course I'm a Hmong. Is SUSAT much worse than the ACOG? Yes, SUSAT is not a good optic. It's not a good optic. It was for its day. It's not today. But that being said, I had an ACOG for my PWS Mark 116. Wasn't a big fan of the donut reticle that it had on it, but still a very good optic overall. Very high quality. So, As Up Gaming, Matt, you Hmong? Yes, I am a Hmong. What's the difference between the C7 and the M4? The C7 is a 20-inch long barrel. The M4, I think, is a 16-inch barrel, so a little different. I was asked to talk in What training have you done already and what are you qualified in? I haven't trained in anything into Canadian Army equivalent yet. I've done basic training, BMQ land, and that's it. Does Mum live upstairs? My mum is in England and I'm in Canada, so no. Another hotel quality stream. Breakfast Brigade. I can't help it, man. I can't help my terrible stream quality. That's why I don't stream very often. But thank you again for your donation. What is the furthest range I've shot? I've actually fired this rifle up to around 600 meters, which was quite a shot for this rifle, being it's only 223 or 5.56. The longest I've ever shot a rifle, or I guess a machine gun. I fired the 50 caliber machine gun, or HMG machine gun, about to 1,000 meters. That was like, automatic fire for, burst fire, kind of suppression fire. And that's the furthest I've shot. Oh no, I tell a lie. I fired a Savage Model 111, I think it was, 338 Lapua up to around, I think it was up to 900 meters. I'm not sure. No, I didn't hit the thing, but that's what I was trying to hit at. So I think someone just donated again. Nope. Have I seen the MLRS being fired? Yes, I have. You what, mate? Actually, I did a video. You go right at the beginning of my YouTube channel. I go all the way to the bottom. My first few videos. You'll see a video saying MLRS or something being fired. That is me in Afghanistan actually deployed, watching the MLRS's fire. One of the most scariest experiences I've ever had whilst being in Afghanistan was about 3 in the morning. I'd just come off probably a 7-hour patrol with the infantry platoon and their warriors. And it was a long night because we had some repairs and recoveries we had to do in their vehicles. We pulled up in the middle of the night. It was pitch black, so tired. Went to bed on top of the decks of the Warrior because it was so hot. And at about 3 in the morning, the MLRS, from I think it was 49 or 45 Royal Artillery, decided to park their MLRSs right beside our harbour location outside of FOB Edinburgh and launch an entire salvo of, I think, 12 missiles. And it was 3 in the morning, and I was on top of the decks. And I'm probably like 200 meters away, not even, from 12 salvos of those rockets. I was nearly dead. I cracked myself. The first rocket that went off, I like got up so quick I nearly fell off the decks. And then I'm just like fingers in my ear watching, it's like, and it was pitch black, the brightest white light, these things firing off into the sky. I'm like, oh my God. And my commander's inside the vehicle like, what's going on? He's getting ready to traverse the turret. I'm like, no, it's just a fire mission. But like these rockets are just flying in the sky and I am just covered in dust at this point because all the dust from the first rocket is flying onto our warriors. The infantry are getting out of their vehicles like sleepy-eyed, like, what's going on? And they're so used to loud noises, they're just like, yeah, cool, man. But I'm just like battered on top of this vehicle from this 12-shot salvo from this GMLRS. But it was an experience, that's for sure. Would you play Rising Storm Vietnam 2? Yeah, I would. For sure I would. I haven't got it though, so maybe in the future I'll give it a go. Is your first video about the L11 artillery gun? Yeah, that's my first video. That was on Armor 3, but no, let's go further up. The MLRS video should be on there somewhere. Matt, as an American, all I care about is does the C7 pew pew and does it good? How good does it poo? I don't know. I'll find out this weekend how good it pews. What's my dream gun? My dream gun would be a Barrett 50 cal for sure. I'd love a 50 cal. What's the best rifle I've ever used? I mean, define best. I love the L85A2 because I'm used to it. Maybe when I get used to this beauty, she'll be my favorite. So I don't know. Cool tats, thank you. I'm getting a new one next week. Super excited, can't wait. But I've got to start losing some weight to get some more tattoos on my body because I'm like a big lump of beef right now. I just need to trim down the fat and get back into the gym, all that good stuff. Found the vid. Oh my God, yeah, it was an interesting fire mission, that's for sure. The gentleman you see walking across there is actually the Sergeant Major of the infantry regiment we were attached to at the time, telling us that they were about to fire. What airbase or airport did you arrive in when going to Afghanistan? I landed in, what's it called now? Kandahar Air Force Base, and then I was deployed via via Chinook from Kandahar Air Force Base to Camp Bastion, which now no longer exists in British sovereignty and ownership. I think the Afghanis have took it over now. Does the Elkin have any tritium in it? This one does not. Its tritium is pretty much, they have a half-life. I think the radioactivity material inside the tritium lasts for a long time, but I think this one's been removed to prevent it from, causing any danger if it got cracked or whatever for civilian use. So no, it does not have tritium in this stuff. Call of Mongs, Mong Warfare. Yeah, I guess so. Is that wallpaper or color on the wall? It's just paint, dude. What are you asking about like wallpaper for? It's so random. Were you ever unfortunate to holiday in Sangin in 2006, 2008? You were there in 2008. Well, if you were there in 2008 with 3 Para, I was there too because I was supporting 16th Air Assault most of my tour. I was in Garcia, Sangin, Fob Edinburgh. I was in the green zone a couple of times, but we didn't stay there for long. We tended to drop off supplies, stay the night or maybe 2, do a couple of patrols with the PWRR and 4 Scots. I was attached to 4 Scots primarily, but we supported 16th Air Assault and Paras quite a bit, supply runs or whatever it may be. And then we just continued progressing up north to Fob Edinburgh. That's where I was primarily focused from. So, but thank you for your service, buddy. You know, parachute regiment and all that good stuff. What's the funniest story you have of the ANA? Oh God, where to start? One of the funniest stories I have of the ANA is it was, I think it was our 4th night, 3rd or 4th night. We've been staying in Musakala, DC, which is the district center for Musakala village, or I guess, yeah, it's like a village. And the ANA are the ones that guard the front gate before the Brits do or the Americans do. So we had a couple of Marines detached to us. We had 2 infantry platoons with us in Musakala, DC, because Fob Edinburgh is like on top of the hill and Musakala, DC is in the valley. And we were attached on deployment away from Fob Edinburgh into the valley, and we're kind of on our own with the ANA. The ANA are tasked to guard the front gate for anyone coming in. So, you know, they're just guarding the front gate. They're all holding their rifles like this, right, by the carry handles. And instead of guarding the front door, do you know what they do? They get paints, like watercolor paints, and they paint the stocks of their rifles and paint the working parts of their rifles with flowers and roses. And then they go find the flowers and roses. And all these little holes you see here, they put flowers and roses in them. And flowers and roses in the barrel. And they decorate their gun like it's an accessory. They get high as a kite on opium. And we never trusted them. They might as well have just put 2 kittens on the front gate of Musakala, DC. Because that's how much use they were. And one of the times we saw them decorating the gun. And one of their ANA commanders had come down from wherever he had come down from. And he was a bit of a hard ass. And he came down and he comes over to these guys as they're painting their rifles and he picks up their rifle. I think it was an M16A2 or an A1 or whatever it was. Picks it up as they're decorating it. And he literally launches the rifle across the road on like the dusty track or whatever it was ahead of the camp. Launches the rifle across the road. Slams into the dirt. And this ANA guy just like stares at the officer. Stands up and he's like, what do I do? He had no idea what to do, and nor did this officer. Like, I think they were both very confused the situation happened. So one of the other guards just drops his rifle, literally just like drops it on the floor and starts running. Like just fucking run. I don't know where he went, but he just ran like the wind. Dropped his rifle and ran. This other guy's rifle's been thrown across the street. He's just stood there staring at this commander, like in starstruck or just in complete shock. And at that point I had to go detail to something else, but I don't know what happened. But it was so funny watching that guy bail, and I don't know why he bailed, but he literally just dropped his rifle, I'm done, I'm out of here, and pegged it down the road in his ANA uniform, which is like suicide because you're running into Taliban country in an ANA uniform. So random but hilarious at the same time. When will you join the Canadian Forces? Louis Dubuc 95. I'm already in the Canadian Forces, serving as a aspiring Canadian artillery soldier. Going to be going through my training hopefully this year. So I am currently serving the Canadian Army Reserves. 4 years in the waiting, but I did. When did you join the British Army? I joined in 2003, 2002. I can't remember. I was 16 years old though when I joined. When are we going to see ZF Mongs Edition? I don't know. Whenever I get round to it. Did you ever have troubles communicating with other soldiers with thick accents? Not really. I've come across every accent from Scouse to Brummie to Scottish to Irish to Southern. I mean, I'm pretty universal with my own accent. No one really can define where I'm from, so I was pretty good at taking on accents. Nowadays, probably not so much, so I've been in Canada, but I could get by, for sure. Breakfast Brigade, thank you again for your donation. Call of Duty Modern Warfare, thank you, buddy, I appreciate it. Did the Taliban have mortars? If so, how accurate they were? They did have mortars. They were known as tube mortars, so not tube mortars, barrel mortars. They used to just make them out of whatever they could. They welded bits of steel together to make these barrel drums, and they'd launched them. They weren't that accurate, but when they did land, they caused some serious damage. Did you choose artillery, or did the CF choose it for you? I chose the artillery. I wanted to step away from the mechanical world. I do that in my day-to-day anyway, so I decided I wanted to get on the guns, and I chose the artillery instead. Play more Wargame. I will play more Wargame for sure. It will be coming, so if you want to come play with me, come check out my Discord. It's in the link box of other videos that I've recently done, so if you want to join us. What other militaries did you get to work with? I worked with the United States military, the US Marine Corps, actually quite a bit in Afghanistan. I worked with the Canadians and the Australians and the Dutch. Actually, I had a Danish guy who was on guard duty with me in a Sanger one time. He's actually a door gunner on one of their smaller Bell helicopters they used. A really nice guy. He gave me his shoulder patch. Fantastic guy. Every single one of them had beards. The friendliest folks. Really good soldiers too. So. Matsimus, did you ever serve alongside the Abrams? We had Abrams training with us in Poland a couple of times, but other than that, I didn't really operate around them much, and most of my stuff was the British side and the German side. I operated around the Germans a lot with the Leopard 2s and stuff. So. It is a Canadian rifle, Marcus Peterson. This is the beautiful SA-20, otherwise known as the civilian version of the C7A2 rifle. Of course, not a C7A2 because it is not fully automatic. But I will be taking it to the range in the very near future here, so stand by if you're new to the stream. This is my new rifle, so welcome. I will be taking it to the range for a good shooting session, hopefully this weekend, so stay tuned for that. For Wargame, join the Dream Team, Rock Balance, and you. Yeah, I'm not a Dream Team, I suck at that game. Matsimus is going to be a kill streak, I'm so proud. Are the Aussies crazy dudes? The Aussies are a good bunch of guys. I've never had a problem with them. I think they're fantastic. They surely know how to drink. They have a lot of fun, and that's good because it's the same mentality that the Brits are on. So, when did you work with the Australians and where? I worked with the Australians in Afghanistan whilst we were in Camp Bastion. I think we had a troop of about, probably about 30 or 40 guys. They're from an engineers unit. I think they were bridge builders or something like that. And we supported them just in terms of vehicle repair. And whenever we went on convoys, they'd come out with us and they follow us in convoy wherever they needed to go. So, really good bunch of guys. How do you feel about the war in Afghanistan? That's a tough question. It's a long question answer session, but overall I don't think it was I'm not going to go there. It's probably not the best place to talk about it. Do you play airsoft or do you have airsoft guns? Bunny Hop, I would love to play airsoft. Unfortunately, I don't have any airsoft guns. I'd love to try it. I've never done airsoft before. I'm looking at getting a gas blowback L85A2 or SA80 rifle for airsoft, and one day I'll probably give it a go, but I just can't afford it right now to buy that sort of stuff, so we'll see in the future. How and when does a soldier go to the bathroom on duty? If you gotta go, man. You dig a hole, or you find a porta potty, and then that's it. that's it. Matsimus, why are tanks like the Challenger 2 so underpowered engine-wise? Aerozak, honestly, they're not underpowered. The problem with the Challenger 2 platform is we are concurrently trying to upgrade a vehicle that is only powered to take so much weight. The Challenger 2 engine was designed to originally be on a Challenger 1 chassis. So the Challenger 1 is a little bit lighter, not much lighter than the Challenger 2, and it was meeting what's called the perfect criteria, which means it did everything that the criteria of the Army wanted. Remember, they're going to build something that meets that criteria, nothing more, nothing less, because it's more expensive. So they built the power pack to power the Challenger 1 to that criteria. The Army said, we want this tank to go this fast, this long, for this distance, at this angle, blah, blah, blah. With this power pack, make it happen. And they did a very good job, and there were some teething pains originally when they first used the engine. But when the Challenger 2 came around, it was a completely different mindset, a bit bigger of a system. Some not major differences, of course. It's a very similar tank, but a little bit heavier. And especially when you start putting Chobham on there and different packages of armor, you're increasing the overall weight of the vehicle. You're also asking a lot more of the Challenger 2. The Challenger 2 has a different suspension system, a little bit different, and that affects, overall how the vehicle performs cross-country. You're asking more of an engine that was primarily designed for an older tank in a newer tank, so of course, failure rates on that engine is going to be more. So, as from my standpoint, the Challenger 2 Power Pack is underpowered and underrated, and it requires to be a real overhaul because it's just not where it should be. A lot of people say, well, why doesn't the Challenger 2 have a gas turbine engine? That's not the way I think we should go. I think diesel power is the way to go. I just think they really need to overhaul the entire engine platform. The engine itself is fantastic, so is the transmission. But that particular vehicle, though, I think it should be beefed up and more modernized, a lot more electronically configured, that you can monitor the transition of how the gears and engines work together with one another, instead of this old school, just diesel transmission engine that's just, very primitive. What's your thoughts on the M551 Sheridan light tank? I heard they're bringing the Sheridan light tank back, which actually would be really interesting to see the old Shillelagh missiles flying again. Which artillery regiment would you like to join? I'd like to join any artillery regiment, but right now I'm just joining my local reserve regiment. How hard or easy was it to transition from right hand to left hand driving? Really easy, honestly. I never had any problems with it. The hardest part was driving a left-handed drive vehicle in a right-hand drive country, and then moving to driving across the border into the UK or from Germany, swapping between vehicles and roads. That was awkward, for sure. Me and my buddy are arguing over what has better penetration, power, fast, or hard-hitting projectiles. Depends on the projectile and what you're trying to puncture through at the end of the day, my friend. You have a good night, mate. Best wishes. Subscribe. Thank you, Bourbon, Joe, Nola. I appreciate that. Thank you for stopping by and for subscribing. What nations do you believe should be added to Wargame? Well, Rhodesia, for one. I don't know. I don't know which nations. It'd be nice to see... I don't know. The army has been looking for their replacement. Hello, soldat. Oh, God. Your name. Have you heard of the... Have you heard of the Filipino army putting wood planks on their V100 APCs on? That's interesting. That's definitely interesting. Okay, folks, so honestly, it's getting a little late now. It's 10 o'clock, so I think it's time for me to put these beautiful birds to bed. They have definitely had... I'm going to make sure this is completely clear and the working paths forward. There we go. Dust out of sight. So that's me for tonight, folks. I am a little exhausted. It's been a long stream and it's been a long day. I appreciate you stopping by today. Thank you so much for coming by and saying hello. As I mentioned, I will be taking the C7 out to the range as soon as I can when I find some time and some money to buy some ammo, which, as you can see by some people here, you've already been donating me some money, so thank you so much for that. It's probably going to go towards buying me some ammunition for this beauty this weekend, and some other projects I've got going on in the background to better my channel overall. As you can see, I'm reaching up to the 72,000 mark with subscribers. It's baffling to me. I can't understand why you guys stick around, but I do really appreciate it. I know it's so cliche, and you hear everybody on YouTube saying, thank you for sticking around and being my subscribers. And, I watch a lot of my own favourite YouTubers, and they say that, and you're like, okay, or whatever. And I'm not going to just continue with the cliche thing, but I really do. I mean, those of you who stick around, hang out, and watch my videos, it really means a lot. I put a lot of effort into my channel. So from a personal standpoint, really do thank you. If I could reach across the internet and shake your hand, I would do so. So thank you all for keeping the support for this channel. I'm thinking I might hit 100,000 subscribers by the end of the year. I think we're on track for that. So that's going to be exciting. It's going to be a bit of a momentous occasion for me and my channel. I never expected to hit that kind of level of subscribers. And the views too, that you guys are continually enjoying most of my content. So that's good to see the views going up and up and up. So thank you. So if you want to come see this guy getting fired, I'm going to try maybe live streaming it. But if it doesn't get good quality, I'll probably just video it in HD and we'll put it on the channel later on for you guys to review. If you're watching this live stream from a later date or in the past, so apologise you couldn't make it, but hope you enjoyed today's stream, and I hope those of you who did join live did enjoy today's stream. I think we're looking at about, we had 105 people, and now I've said I'm going, there's like 76 left. So yeah, thank you again, all of you, for sticking around for today's stream. I'm going to put these beautiful ladies to bed, and I myself am going to go brush my teeth and head to bed and call it quits, ready for work tomorrow. So again, thank you folks for a wonderful stream. You've been a great audience, and I hope you come hang out my next live stream, which I'm not sure when it will be, but it will be coming around one day. So from my beautiful ladies here, we all wish you a fantastic evening, day, night, morning, whatever time zone you're in. And I will catch you next time. Now I'm going to have to walk my sorry ass over there to turn off my phone to say goodbye. So let's get up and say goodbye. Okay, folks, all the best again, and I will see you next time. Bye-bye.